We will now proceed to the keynote session. It is a great honor to welcome Mr. Kailash Satyarthi, 2014 Nobel Prize laureate and the founder of Kailash Satyarthi Children's Foundation. Mr. Kailash Satyarthi has conveyed his apologies for not being able to join us in person today. However, he has kindly prepared a special recorded address. Before we proceed to his keynote address, may I invite your attention to a brief introductory video highlighting Mr. Satyarthi's remarkable life and work.
Mr. Kailash Satyarthi is the 2014 Nobel Prize laureate and a global advocate for peace and human dignity. He is the founder of the India-based Kailash Satyarthi Children's Foundation and the Bakpan Bachao Andolan movement. His work has mobilized nationwide movements and global advocacy efforts to address exploitation and injustice. His efforts have helped liberate tens of thousands and expand access to education and human rights. He continues to champion moral responsibility as a foundation for sustainable peace. Please welcome Mr. Kailash Satyarthi.
My dear sisters and brothers, we are living in a world of paradox, complex crisis. On one hand, this world is filled with knowledge, information, technology. We have never been so wealthier. So it's a world of abundance, yet hunger persists. Ignorance and illiteracy persist. Injustices and inequality are growing. It does not mean that we don't have enough constitutions, laws, national and international treaties and legislations. It does not mean that we don't have defined parameters of ethics and moralities. But all these paradoxes and crises are somehow reflect blurred morality. We all know that morality is a set of principles, ethos, and values that include honesty, integrity, care, help for others, and so on. But all these moral values and principles are getting blurred over the years. Let me share some of my own experiences. Right from the day one when I started rescuing children from slavery, I faced the blurred morality. Because for me, the morality was that civilization and slavery should not go hand in hand. And people started asking questions to me that, Mr. Satyarthi, they were poor children. Are you going to feed them? Are you going to give them shelter? So there was a moral debate, because those days there were no laws against child labor and child slavery. These were two perceptions. It was a norm in the society that the poor children have to work and help the families. So helping the families was a morality. Getting rid of the life of crimes and prostitution or pickpocketing or robbery were considered as the morality, that the children must not be pushed or pulled into that situation. So let them go to work and bring some money to their parents. But my quest for freedom was different. Now, how to distinguish between the two different moralities which were blurred, then we have to go back to the fundamental principles, universal principles of freedom, dignity of human being, and opportunities for future, equal opportunities for everyone. And if you allow poor children to continue work in mines and factories, if we allow that children are sold and bought like animals and sometimes in lesser prices than animals, in my opinion, it was immoral, unethical, it was crime. So we had to move towards that. This was one. I would give more concrete examples. Once I was traveling in Pakistan and I met a group of children who were stitching footballs in a small workshop in Lahore. I sat close to that little girl who was about maybe 8 or 10-year-old. And I felt so disappointed and shocked when I saw that sometimes she made mistakes with needles and the needles hit her fingers. The blood comes out and then she would suck that blood and hide it, because if the blood goes on the top of the football, then the employers, the slave masters will beat the girl. So she was sucking that girl and working again. I sat beside her and said, "My daughter, we are here to make sure that you would be freed one day. And we will make sure that you will go to school." And my colleagues, Pakistani colleagues, were there. And they also assured her. Then I asked, gently, putting my hand on her shoulder and head, I said, "Once you are freed and get education, what is your dream? What do you want to become?" She smiled. She was shy and looked and mumbled in the ears of a boy and asked, "What is dream?" In Hindi or Urdu, we call it khwab. And she was asking, "What is this khwab?" The boy also said, "I had no idea." She had no idea about dreams for the future. So it was highly immoral, rather crime, rather a sin, that we deny the dreams of our children. I consoled her, I convinced her, and when I again and again asked, she smiled and she said, "If I'm allowed, I wanted to hit a proper air-filled football." That was her only dream she can think of. Many of these crimes in the society goes on in the name of dual morality or the blurred morality. So we have to be very clear on it that morality enables us to make decisions not on the basis of what we can do, but on the basis of what ought to be done, what has to be done, what is appropriate for those people as well as for the larger good. This is unfortunately gone. We have freed over 140,000 children physically from the slavery and child labor and trafficking. Nowadays, when we were talking about the morality or blurred morality or its impact, we cannot ignore two ongoing situations. One is the war in West Asia. Is it not a shame for all of us that children are being killed. How many children have been killed in Gaza? Innocent children. What was their fault? How many girls have been killed in Iran? What was their fault? The morality calls for speaking out against this. Morality calls for demanding to end this war because it is unethical, it is immoral. It is illegal too, but it is immoral because morality is much more powerful compass, moral compass, if we really adhere to it. There is another issue, and that is of the so-called Epstein files. Is it not a shocking situation that the rapists, traffickers of young girls, the pimps, who have become so powerful that they are holding the power equations in many parts of the world? Which religion, which faith, which constitution allows all this to continue? But this is the reality, the harsh reality of our times. So, dear friends, we have to act differently. We have to act in our personal life as well as in our social life and global life differently. Because we are not able to solve any problem on the earth. We reach to a situation that solutions are giving birth to new complex problems. And then we look for the solutions and we keep on putting all the efforts to find solutions, and the solutions give birth to new problems. So that becomes a vicious circle, and we are caught in that vicious circle. The second thing is that because of the power mongering, because of the wealth mongering, because they make the decision in the world, what is happening? We have been living in the world of aggression. Aggressive politics, aggressive ideologies, aggressive faith, aggressive businesses, aggression in every walk of life. Where is the tolerance? If you cannot learn to walk together, to live together, to talk together, to listen together, and to respect diversities and differences, then you cannot establish and respect any moral principle or any morality. Because there are some basic requirements that we should feel that others also have their own dignity, their freedom, and their own voices. I think all these elements have to go hand in hand. So the impact of blood morality is causing many, many problems in the world, which are unsolvable. When it comes to peace, again, peace is not just absence of violence or absence of war. Peace is justice. Peace is equality. Peace is freedom. Peace is responsibility, rather collective responsibility, and shared wisdom and shared knowledge. Peace requires all those elements to go hand in hand. Peace is an equilibrium between individuals, society, universe, and nature. And if we are not able to establish it, then we cannot ensure the morality in our life and society. These things have to go hand in hand. You know, 470 million children are forced to live and grow in war-prone areas, in conflict zones. So the establishment of morality is also linked with end of war, ensuring comprehensive peace, the holistic peace in society, to make the society just, equitable, peaceful and sustainable. So we have come out with a solution that we have to redefine success, we have to redefine progress, we have to redefine growth and development, and we have to redefine the processes and impact of making solutions. And that comes from the idea of compassion. So don't be confused with my definition of compassion as a soft emotion. No, it is not. Compassion is not a soft emotion. It is not a weakness. Compassion is not empathy, sympathy, mercy, kindness, benevolence, charity, anything. Though they are good human traits, but they are not going to ensure justice, peace, and morality in the world. The morality and ethics will remain hollow and meaningless if the element of compassion is missing. And what does it mean? Compassion is not an emotion but a force which is born from feeling the suffering of others as our own suffering, that drives to take urgent action, meaningful action, mindful action. That means compassion is action. Compassion is responsibility. Compassion is courage. And these elements of compassion will redefine morality. So morality has to be redefined on the basis of this definition of compassion, not which has been taught to us for centuries through religions and cultures and traditions and so on. Universal morality is compassion. We are working in the field of compassion, not only just writing and talking. I am not a preacher or teacher of compassion. I had made a way of life. So, compassion is innate. Compassion is universal. That can be enhanced, that could be increased, that could be ignited, and that could transform the world. So let us globalize compassion. Let us build the leadership, compassionate leadership in all walks of life. In the politics, which is much more needed, if we are able to identify some compassionate leaders and we acknowledge them, we respect them, and we give them the space and platform so that they can speak out for peace, and their call for peace would be much more moral, truly moral, compassionate leadership. If we have to build the compassionate businesses, then we have to ensure that the business leaders make sure that in their entire supply chain, in their entire production and management systems and institution, they should have a sense of feeling for others as their own suffering, their own problems. So compassion emerges as a collective problem solver. And that can be also found in other walks of life. So in the end, I would like to say that if we have to ensure sustainable peace, we have to globalize compassion.